Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Thin Crust Flopcast, episode 52. Now, you obviously may notice that obviously we are missing my co-host, but currently Damo is getting teeth pulled, and that knocks. And having had teeth pulled before, I know how much that can knock you for six. So I put Damo on executive. Well, I put Damo on rest for the day, so they can actually just get sorted, get better, and they won't be in any pain or cause any aggravation while it's healing. So I could have asked some other people to actually jump in, but I decided to fly this solo today. So this may not be as long of an episode, but we will still do. I will still do what I can. And yes, Kiwi medic. So obviously we've got quite a few things to talk about. Sorry, I heard healing, couldn't resist. Revive me! Some fucking Gears of War shit. Now, we do obviously have a few things obviously to go over. Not going to do the usual what I've been playing over the past couple of weeks, because y'all have been seeing. Yeah, no need to go over. I will be putting my opinions in regards of some stuff that's happened. In regards of the gaming world. I'll be covering Damo's topics as well, that Damo has obviously found as well. And we're going to start off with something that I'm both surprised and not surprised about. The Sims movie has been confirmed. That's right, they're making a movie on The Sims. And this is coming from the Sims community. Your favourite simulation game is hitting the big screen. Where do we even begin with this story? The rumour mill of the Sims movie has been tossed around a couple of times over the last few years. Today the mill seems to be put to a stop with an official insider confirmation about the live-action movie adaptation being produced by one of the biggest names in Hollywood right now. Let's dive into the story and what we know so far about the Sims movie produced by Margot Robbie. Live-action Sims movie has a team. The story was first broken by Jeff Snyder on the Insnider, with first details about the team working on this video game film adaptation. The production company taking the challenge for creating a Sims movie is called Lucky Chap, some production company that created Barbie, one of the biggest films released in 2023, with a box office currently earning over $1.4 billion. And that's gonna... And no doubt that film had me... took one look at it and just went... Yeah, not for me, cheap. Not for me, cheap. I know a few fans will... I know a few people will actually... I know a few people will be happy about this, and no Damo is. And yes, it is a full-on movie. Not a reality show, a movie. Which is shocking in itself, really. I don't see really how it could work, to be honest. Lucky Chap is run by a professional team of writers and actors, including Margot Robbie, Josie McNamara, Tom Ackley, and Sophie Kerr, who will have the most to say in creating of this film. Screenplay of this movie will be written by Kate Herron and Briony Redman. Creation of this movie will be helped along with the Vertigo Entertainment production company, featuring names such as Roy Lee and Miri Yoon, according to the Hollywood Insider. Electronic Arts will also be involved in the movie's production and creative inputs. What is the Sims movie about? the details about the Sims movie script are still secret, considering that we've just now got an information about the big names working on this project. I'm not going to drop them because I pretty much almost guarantee most people don't give two shits. Because big names can come and go and change in regard, especially when it comes to Hollywood. It might take some months before we get the first details, but my guess is it'll probably involve a fair amount of the usual semantics. But it may also... I can't even say where I think that might go, to be honest. Like, the idea of a Sims movie, just like, wouldn't it just essentially just be playing a more hands-on form of God? If anything. When you think about it. It's like, I don't know. I imagine as the time comes across, Damo will have more info in regards of it, because guaranteed Damo is going to be all over this. So, obviously, when more info comes in regards of said thing, because some are also speculating that this might actually also... well, some are saying that this might actually be essentially a type of promotion for Sims 5. But, not gonna lie, that kind of just seems like speculation at that point. It's like, especially when it comes to EA, it's like, don't count your eggs just yet. It's EA. There's still plenty of time for them to screw things up. There's plenty of time for them to screw the pooch, as the saying goes. So, a Sims movie. I'm a little bit apprehensive because most video game movie adaptations don't go that well. The aim is there, but the execution is kind of piss poor, with a few exceptions. One of them being Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider. I still think it's a great fucking film. The first one's really good. Second one, not as good, but still good. Now, obviously, a lot of people will probably disagree with me and say that the Sonic movies are actually really good. I've not seen them, so I can't throw any actual judgment on them. I can't throw my opinion on that, so I won't bring it up until I've actually seen them myself. Which I probably won't, because they didn't really tickle my fancy anyway. I'll play the games, maybe watch some of the old cartoons, but that'll be about as far as it goes. That's got... So I'm being accused of... so Charles in my chat... hello YouTube, by the way. This obviously was live streamed. So in my chat, I'm being accused of only saying about the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider films is because she's attractive. That's got nothing to do with it. It is generally actually generally a good film, considering my opinion on video game movie adaptations. It actually did better than I thought, so that's why I say it's actually good, because it actually surprised me. That was actually half decent. Anything that actually can be half decent and better than the norm in my book, it's praiseworthy in my book. It's fine. Let's just leave it at that. And I know Charles is literally just trying to poke me because his ass is also groggy. So, here and live on Twitch, fuck you, Charles. And if, Charles, you put anything in the comments on this when it goes up on YouTube, fuck you again and all. Anyway, moving on. So, Baldur's Gate 3. I know, Baldur's Gate 3 stuff, not like that's been covered on a constant over the past few, especially by our demo. But, some big news. They have actually announced that they will not actually be working on DLC, nor anything for Baldur's Gate 4, which, to be honest, has had as fuck's sake, Charles, as is actually quite a surprising turn, with that announcement, it has actually caused the devs to actually breathe a sigh of relief based on what I've been seeing on some articles. The devs are actually quite pleased about this. It means they can actually focus on Baldur's Gate 3 as a whole. Now, obviously, I know Baldur's Gate isn't exactly everyone's cup of tea. I know it's not everyone's type of thing. But one thing I'll say that Baldur's Gate and Helldivers does that most AAA games these days fail to do is release the game as a full package, not a partial package where, oh yeah, we got this, this, and this to come in the future. Instead, they took their time and they actually brought it out. They actually have done very good. So the fact that they're actually not doing DLC is actually, not gonna lie, it's actually not that bad of a deal. I'm actually happy that they're actually not doing DLC for Baldur's Gate 3. Instead, they're actually going to be working on fixing all the various issues, adding mod support, as well as crossplay. So it is actually very good that they are actually going to be doing that. Also, hey Shay. So it's interesting because normally when a game says they're not going to do any DLC, you think, oh, that's going to be the start of its death. But with the amount that they've actually been working on bringing out patches to actually fix various things, shows that the work on the game actually isn't going to be dying anytime soon. And the fact there still seems to be lots of stuff that people are finding even after all the hours they put into the game. All it takes is maybe like a wrong decision or a failed decision that might end up with a completely different quest or dialogue choice later on. And apparently they're still going to be adding like more scenes for some of the endings as well. Excuse me. So that is actually pretty good that they're actually focusing on the main game and keeping their focus on the main game itself. So, Larian Studios, bravo, well done. Well done. Thank you. Appreciate you actually taking the time to actually continue work on your main game. And thank you. I just gotta bless you from the sneeze. Now, some of obviously the people at Larian, obviously, they find it not easy to obviously say. Alright, so what was? So, some people are obviously a bit sad. Obviously, there's not going to be DLC, but again, I'll make the statement, and I'm pretty sure Damo would agree with me on this, as well as anyone else that's played Baldur's Gate 3. They're going in the right direction on that one. Not making DLC and not focusing on Baldur's Gate 4. And so far, there's no news about there being a Baldur's Gate 4. Hell, if there was news about it, I'll be very disappointed. Because it's like, alright, you guys are taking resources from the main game and putting it into this new one, when you should be pouring the resources into this one so it lasts. You know? They're giving it longevity and replayability while working on trying to actually make sure that the game is as enjoyable as possible for everyone. The fact that they're openly working on mod support, and not just mod support for PC, but apparently possibly mod support for consoles as well, which again is pretty huge. So, obviously, more information in regards to that obviously will be handled by Damo when they are back. It'll be something definitely to look forward to. Now, now, a couple of days ago, this kind of dropped on me on by YouTube, actually. One of the people I follow on there, Rhyme Styles, they do Dragon Ball Z content, as well as some Yu-Gi-Oh! And some other games. They got invited by Konami to actually go and and a few others were actually invited by Konami to go and test out. Well, just basically see and play a Yu-Gi-Oh VR game. Now, I don't obviously normally talk about VR games because it's not really my thing. However, it looked just because the video that Rhymestyle shows is it basically shows kind of like what playing Yu-Gi-Oh would be like in the anime, where you get a cut where you summon a monster out, they appear. What shows in the video is you summoning Dark Magician Girl, and she's actually interacting with your character, and then you're basically from what I could tell story-wise, you're testing out this system for Kaiba. Kaiba then pops up and starts talking to you, and Dark Magician Girl actually gets annoyed by him, which I think is hilarious. Like, as a fan of the anime and just Yu-Gi-Oh in general, I approve of this. Obviously, it's not going to be like that, because obviously it's going to be a bit before obviously that comes out. Whoever actually came up with this idea and has actually been working on it, Konami, I say this: let them cook. Let them cook. I want to see what this looks like. Now, obviously, I won't be playing it because obviously it's VR. I would like there to be like a non-VR version, just because I'd love to be able to do something like that. I think it'd be cool. But again, I can't wait to see more of this. I'm very excited for something like this. Again, let them cook. This is a great idea, and I think they should be allowed to build upon this. If they need any support, back them up, Konami. Give them the support, give them the resources, let them cook. This will do more good for you than you realise. Because the one thing that players of Yu-Gi-Oh have been kind of wanting for years, obviously there's a Yu-Gi-Oh type thing in VR chat, to my knowledge, but there's not actually been anything like this, which I think is very good. I'm definitely looking more forward to it. Any more news in regards of it, obviously I will cover, because it's Yu-Gi-Oh and I love Yu-Gi-Oh, despite how much it frustrates me. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more about this Yu-Gi-Oh VR game, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they're going to build up on this. So, good start, Konami. Don't lose pace, don't lose momentum. That's my only advice I can give. If you guys are curious about the video, I will obviously link it I'll link it obviously if I remember to. I'll post a link for it in the description, because I think this is something that people do need to see. I'll post it just in the Twitch chat so people can actually go and check it out themselves if they deem that it worthy. Now, onto a game that has just come out and has been met with, from what I'm seeing, somewhat mixed reactions. I've spoken to someone who's played the game on PlayStation 5 and they're absolutely loving it. Obviously there are a few little hiccups here and there, but that's nothing to be expected. On Steam, it's a bit of a different... From what I'm seeing, it seems to be a bit of a different game. Or a bit of a different ball game, so to speak. From what I've been seeing, currently it has a lot of negative reviews. And the fans seem to be pretty vocal about it. Because obviously there's microtransactions in it, which, to be honest, most of the microtransactions are literally to buy items that you can get in the game. So I question Capcom's decision to do that. I get obviously maybe like having like a starter bundle thing to give players like a little bit extra. Maybe some of these rarer items, but at the same time, I can't understand their reasoning for that. All the items that are, from what I've heard, that are on the microtransactions, you can get. Now, Dragon's Dogma, to my knowledge, was always a one save file game. So, and apparently if you want an extra save file, you're going to have to pay them. So it's like, I'm rather, when it comes to that sort of stuff, I'm a little bit, but considering Dragon's Dogma was originally like that anyway, so, and I didn't have an issue with it, I just played it, and you can change it, like, you can change how your character looks. Now, some people have actually been refunding the game on Steam. Like, some people even were refunding it after only playing it for a couple of hours. Which is like, whew. Apparently there have been a lot of bugs and frame rate issues. And that seems to be one of the big issues, as well as the microtransactions. A single player game really shouldn't have that level of microtransactions for obtainable stuff in the game. For unattainable stuff, fair enough. To my knowledge, from what I've seen of the items, it doesn't look like they're pay to win items, basically to make things like super derp easy. But at the same time, like, I still question the level of microtransactions there is for the game. Like, is that really needed? If you can get the items in-game, then why have them as microtransactions? Like, it's... Again, I question their thought process on that one. Capcom, what are you guys thinking? It doesn't... I can't justify that sort of level of microtransaction. When it comes to DLC or paid DLC, you obviously expect to get something that you couldn't normally. That you can't through playing the game. Yeah, you can get this stuff, so why? With the influx of microtransactions happening in a lot of games, and some single-player games starting to have this sort of stuff, I worry. Are we going to reach a point where even single-player games are literally just half-assed, and then if you want the rest, you're going to have to pay? Just literally pay for, oh, if you want this, this, and this. Oh, you want to progress the game? Oh, you're going to have to pay for this. That's not a good idea. That's not a good business idea. If anything, it's going to piss off the fans. As a lover of single-player games myself, I do question that. Capcom have announced that they're actually going to be taking care of the bugs and frame rate issues. But they have also said about, but they have pointed out that the items can be obtained in-game. So, well, some people seem to be experiencing, like, quite a few issues. Like, I've heard that some streamers actually were crashing, like, several times in the opening before they could actually enjoy the game. I heard Moist Critical tried to play the game, and they crashed around about 36 times on the opening itself. So it's like, huh? I'm just, I want to play Dragon's Dogma 2 because I enjoyed the first one. Like, Apparently, now I'm going through some stuff that I've seen in regards of it. Apparently, a large amount of CPU usage is allocated to each character and calculating the impact of their physical presence in various areas. In certain situations where numerous characters appear simultaneously, the CPU usage can be very high and may affect the frame rate. We are aware that in each situation, settings that reduce CPU load may currently have a limited effect. However, we are looking into ways to improve performance in the future. Yeah, not gonna lie, that obviously it's good that they're obviously recognizing the problem and needs to be fixed, but at the same time, this is kind of like what beta testers are for. Like, did they actually have beta testers actually do anything on the game? Like, obviously pointing out the majority of the bugs, but the frame rate issues, not gonna lie, if it's causing high CPU usage, like, and then obviously frame rate drop, that'd be something I would probably note in my report. I can't... Again, I'm questioning Capcom's decision on this one. So, I'm... Capcom, the fuck you thinking? People are refunding your game on Steam left, right and centre. This is not a good look. This game that people were actually looking forward to has ended up causing quite a lot of issues on PC. I've not heard the issues in regards to PlayStation apart from just a couple of bits. I did speak to someone who has played the game a lot since they got it. And they don't seem to really have any issues. Apart from, obviously, what I've said previously about just some frame rate issues. And that's about it. They're enjoying the game. So again, where the hell did you guys screw up? Where PlayStation seems to be doing better, yet PC is tanking. Like, what's going on here? Like, normally if there's an issue, it's usually universal. Why is it on PC that it's tanking? Like, that's kind of a big question in my head. And so I've been looking around, and it's like they're gonna fix it in the future. It's like, if it's causing such a response in the PC side, maybe it might be worth addressing ASAP why it's doing such. Like, I don't know, maybe it might be something that's running on people's PCs, or I don't know. I'm just, quite, when I see stuff like this, and then I see proof of such things, because I've seen a couple of videos saying about it, again, I'm like, it's like, why is this happening? And then I actually hear like legit other reports from trusted people about this, about them not having issues on the other side. Like, PC definitely seems to like be struggling with some of these games of late. Some people, to give note, obviously, one of our good friends, Inventor, has tried playing Helldivers 2 on his PC, yet it crashes on a constant. He plays on his laptop, not a single problem. Apart from every now and then, but you get that with games. So it's like, why? Again, is there something going on with PCs, maybe? Is there something going on with anti-cheats? I don't get what's going on here. Like, there certainly seems to be something that maybe devs maybe want to look into why PC seems to be somewhat struggling at the moment. Yeah. I'll keep an eye out on more info in regards to this, because it's like, this is a pretty big thing. Some people have paid like some people paid up to like $100 for the game, and then immediately will be getting it refunded because they're unsatisfied. Obviously that'll happen with games, but at the same time, like, that's, again, where the hell are you guys going wrong here? From one, I guess you could say, AAA game, or by a AAA company, kind of hitting a bit of a snag, to a non-AAA game, still doing very well after launch. Power World. It's still averaging over 100,000 concurrent players a day on Steam. And it's still got some of its biggest content updates still to come. It's actually quite impressive the amount of people that are still playing Power World. Like, so obviously not long ago they showed a roadmap of what's basically to be expected with the game coming up. Stuff involving end game raids, PvP, server transfer, improved PAL AI, additional islands, and more, and obviously more to come. For me, it's very refreshing to see a game that's not AAA doing so well. And technically, it's still in its beta. Technically. Again, this is kind of like this caused a bit of a spur of a debate online. Like, why is it that non-AAA games are actually doing so well? Games like Helldivers 2 and Power World, and yet AAA games seem to be tanking, when yet they have much more money and resources at their disposal. Is it because... Now, this is just a theory, so don't... This is a theory that I've come up with. So, don't hold it as gospel on my end. That is not what I'm fully agreeing to. It's just a theory. Is it possible that maybe people are feeling more passion in the games like Helldivers and Power World, non-AAA titles? Is it people are feeling more passion from those games that has been put in than some of the AAA titles? I'm just saying, like, it's kind of interesting to see the responses that people have been given, especially in regards to AAA stuff. How it's been... When it came to AAA titles, people looked really, really forward to it. Like, there was hype surrounding this shit. Nowadays, people criticize AAA games to the highest and are very unhappy. Is it because the AAA studios are developing stuff that people are no longer interested in, or is it because the content is no longer original? It is a question that has, not gonna lie, it's been on my mind, because I'm always looking, because I own a bunch of games, and they range from AAA to indie and various other bits. So, again, I guess it will always be like a debate on like what you personally feel was better, indie or AAA. Obviously, people, when you talk about AAA, people talk about like the big companies and how they're not happy with the big companies and they should go screw themselves for what they're doing, yada yada yada. Especially considering the state of the gaming industry as a whole. Like, the gaming industry is going through a major shift right now, and some people are actually even debating whether the gaming industry is now on its last legs. But here's where I wouldn't say the gaming industry is on its last legs. I would say, as a main media interest, where loads of people that used to not play video games, who then got interested in video games, are maybe now starting to lose interest in it. So it may become that niche thing like it was back when I was younger. Because if you played video games, oh, you were a nerd, you were pathetic, and stuff like that. Hey, John Boy. So, I don't know, like, again, this is a question that will probably be debated for many years to come, and probably even after I'm no longer of this world. Can AAA titles deliver actual good games that capture and inspire many people, or is that going to be left to the smaller titles where they'll do their best, succeed to some extent, and then get absorbed? Just a thought process to give you guys something to think about. Because it's... Again, I question, again, it goes back to what I said about Capcom earlier, like, throwing the microtransactions, that amount of microtransactions, on a single-player game. If it was for a multiplayer game, okay, wouldn't be happy about it, but I would kind of somewhat understand, to some extent. But then that makes it, was it pay to win? With some of the items they got in there, if it were a multiplayer game. I don't know. Just let me know what you guys think in the chat, in the comment section. Let me know what you actually think. Like, it's... Some AAA companies actually do better than others, like with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like, that game is, I would say, it's an incredible game. The storytelling is amazing, and I'm loving how it looks. What they're doing with the remake trilogy, I absolutely love it, and I'm loving seeing where this is going. But that's just my own personal opinion. So... Again, to everyone that actually watches this, take some time to actually think, like, actually work out in your head what it is that you actually think you truly want from your video games. If you're happy with the industry as a whole, with how suits seem to stroll in, buy everything, dominate everything, and then as soon as it starts making the money, they then destroy it, and then the very things that are making some of the stuff we love gets destroyed. Because that's what it essentially boils down to. Is essentially, is the gaming... Actually, that's the best question actually that could be asked for everyone. Is the gaming industry about essentially becoming Hollywood? And the movie industry? And the music industry at that. And are you happy with the road it's going? And what are your reasons why, if you are happy with it or not? Just let me know. I'm always open for debate. I'm always open for discussion. To hear people's reasons. I'm always down for that. I love hearing what other people have to say. Because there's always more to actually say from individuals rather than a hive mind type group. Now, from something that literally just popped up out of nowhere for me a couple of days ago. Apparently this happened a few years ago, and yet it's now for some reason only just only just now being brought about. This came from Dexerto, and I looked into this as actually legit. Mobile games boss sentenced to death for poisoning billionaire Yuzu Games founder. Former Yuzu Games executive has been sentenced to death for poisoning its billionaire founder. On March 22nd, apologies for butchering these names, Zhu Yao was sentenced to death for the December 2020 poisoning of Yuzu Games founder Lin Qiu. Or Lin Qi, depending on how you want to pronounce it. According to Shanghai First Intermediate People's Court, Zhu poisoned the food of the 39-year-old Chinese founder following a dispute over how the business was being ran. Lin allegedly drank a cup of poisoned pure tea before becoming seriously ill, in which he died around 10 days later. A few days after his death, Shanghai police detained Zhu and stated he was the main suspect for the founder's murder. Despite the incident happening 4 years ago, Zhu was now being convicted by Shanghai FIPC for homicide and releasing hazardous substances, in which he was given capital punishment. A statement from the Chinese court has stated that 4 other people also were taken ill after drinking the poisoned drinks in the office, but they did not die. In September 2020, Chinese media stated that Yuzu Games granted Netflix the right to produce an adaptation of the best-selling Chinese science fiction trilogy, The Three-Body Problem. They also said that Lin was heading up a subsidiary in charge of business related to it, and that he was executively producing the series, and that the co-creators of Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, were the producers. Yuzu Games will also develop the mobile game A Game of Thrones Winter is Coming, based off the original hit TV series. Lin Qiu was believed to have a net worth of around 6.8 billion yuan, $952 million, according to the Huron China Rich List. So, a bit of corporate drama there, essentially, which was like, again, that kind of threw me for a loop when that happened. Like, who expects that? Obviously, like, they clearly weren't happy, but what was his motive for it? Like, clearly, I'm sorry, but clearly there was more to it than that. Unless he felt there was something else unless there was clearly something else going on. But, guess we'll never know. The guy's being put to death. So, even if there was actually something else going on, we will never know. Just though that everyone else that was poisoned, hopefully they're actually doing better, and it didn't impact their lives too harshly. Yes. Now, obviously, from one bit of bad news to some other news. Well, not really news, more acknowledgement. 1 year ago, on the 24th of March, aired in Japan Ash Ketchum's very final appearance in the Pokemon series. Yes, it's literally been a year since Ash and Pikachu actually departed from the anime series. For legit. There's been no sign of them in the new series, to my knowledge. So, it's weird. It's weird, actually, that it's actually been a year now, and thank you for the follow, Vino Cream. Why is that going on? That alert should not be going off. I don't have the alert box set to go off. It's not even in here. In this scene. What the fuck? But yeah. It's... Christ, the fact it's been a year. Some people have actually theorized, obviously, that Ash may actually make an appearance. Some have speculated that the new series takes place several years after Ash's departure. Some people are saying it's literally just a continuation. Like, he's still going around. He's still a kid. But it is... It's kind of weird that it's been a year that happened now. Even now I see people talk about it. Like, the whole thing was actually trending on X yesterday as well. And some people obviously made like great points as well. Like, if he hadn't have slept in, he wouldn't have met Pikachu in the first episode. And then some people have obviously like drawn side-by-side comparisons, whereas like his first day is really rough. Like, he's dragging Pikachu by a string, trying to get him to obviously follow him. And then the other side is literally Pikachu and Ash walking side by side like the best of friends. There have been some people actually sharing various memories in regards of it. Some people have showed like the rainbow that appeared in the first episode, and then on Ash's last episode, they also showed the rainbow there as well. That was obviously done by Ho-Oh, which is kind of weird how Ho-Oh was a Gen 2 Pokemon, yet they showed him in Gen 1 at the time. It's kind of weird. Like, actually no longer hearing about Ash's exploits in the new series. It is weird. Like, you see it, there's a Pikachu there, but it's not Ash's Pikachu. I think that's the defining thing. People won't be able to see a Pikachu in the game, in the show, and not think of Ash's Pikachu. So it's, I don't know, it's somewhat sobering for that. It's already like years already gone by. Fucking hell! Not gonna lie, before I actually saw the hashtag, I'm like, wait, what? Why is that going? Click. Oh shit! I can't believe it's actually been a year. I honestly still thought it had been like only several months ago. It's gone by that quick. Like, fucking hell. But yeah, jeez. There's not really much else I can actually say on that one. It's just, wow. Time sure flies by. But yeah, with that being said, folks, that is actually going to be it. I've got nothing else. I've covered everything. Both demo and I found. On the obviously next episode, obviously will have demo back, guarantee. And the next episode of the Flopcast will be on the 8th of April. So mark your calendars. Obviously that might be about 7 o'clock UK time, because that seems to be the best of time that suits us both. So yeah, I hope you guys actually enjoyed this episode of the Flopcast. Thank you everyone in Twitch chat that's actually tuned in to this rather early stream. I don't know if I'll be playing anything later, but if you do need some help, Kiwi, on Scarlet Violet, I am more than down. I'm always down to do some Scarlet Violet stuff whilst helping build up other teams. and onto YouTube. If you actually enjoyed what you saw of this, then if you haven't already, then do hit that subscribe button. This obviously. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Flopcast. I hope you will enjoy all the other episodes of the Flopcast as well, from the top all the way to now. It's certainly been a trek coming from where we started. But yeah, I will catch you all in the next one. And as always, raise your pizzas high and say it with me. Stay chaotic and live for the challenge. Bye bye.